Okay, so welcome everyone. Today we are exploring, let's say this is one of very interesting topics for me, which is dropping all pettiness towards self and others. Um, Topic which is very close to my heart because I have swimmed in it, drowned in it, felt trapped for life, believe that to be my truth, all of that, it's a very familiar space, being that way constricted. So let's first explore what does that even mean, dropping all pettiness to itself and others. Yeah, what would you say, Lisa? What comes up for you when
Mhm.
you hear that?
That word pettiness, I think it's helpful to even understand what we're talking about when we say pettiness. And, pettiness, uh, I think comes from a very hurt or wounded place. Like it's hard to see anything else other than he did that to me, she did that to me, and feeling like a victim. Feeling like a victim. And so you're not in the state to be able to move beyond any, you're not in the state to be able to move beyond other than thinking that you are the victim. You are the victim and you're thinking like a victim, therefore. And so all the energy around that is like, I think it's very hard to see in those moments of anything good. Anything good that you have that you're experiencing or that's even happening. You're not able to see beyond. It's just very narrow tunnel vision. There's no expansive view or experience. It's really just I don't have, or uh, only seeing what the lack, only seeing what you don't have, what was done to you, or how you were wronged, um, and not being able to move beyond that. So sitting in, and for lack of better word, what's coming to my mind, sitting in the cesspool of those type of emotions of poor me is they did this to me, like complaining and that victimhood and that just not being able to see anything beyond that is it just drowns you. It weighs you down. It's really heavy, and um, we call that low level thinking actually about our own self, um, and about others. And so that's where the pettiness comes in. It's because we can't see anything good in those moments, those situations, that it's hard to see anything good about ourselves or about what actually may be happening in our environment, or in the situation. So I think it's that pettiness that keeps us small, doesn't allow us to expand, to become, a higher version of ourselves or to see the opportunities that may exist. And then we kind of just spiral and circle in that low level thinking, that heavy energy that weighs us down. Um, it's a really sad place to be when we actually understand what's happening is that it feels very stuck. Like unless somebody goes back and changes the past, which we know that cannot happen. The world doesn't work that way. Just life doesn't work that way. Can never go back to the past. Or it may also look like somebody has to make it up to you, or somebody has to change themselves or something else in order for you to drop those petty thoughts or those low level thinking, which you may not even be aware of. because it looks so true and real. Like, no, it's all their fault. And then you get stuck in a victim mode because you're dependent on the other person changing something that can never be changed. So I think we had talked about how beautiful it is that seeing one end of the spectrum as us human beings can be on, there's another end to that spectrum as well, which when we talk about low level thinking, there's also high level thinking and thinking well of ourselves and thinking well of others. And that bridge, if you will, from going to one end of the spectrum of low level thinking to high level thinking, or that expansion of that opportunity and possibility, and to experience higher levels of emotions, is compassion. That compassion that we have for ourselves and for others, and that you're okay even when things didn't go as you wanted or expected, that you're still okay, and that you know it is possible to shift out of the heaviness and the the grudges, and the drudge that it feels, that it brings with it, that type of thinking, like grudge thinking, victim thinking, that there is opportunity and possibility for to experience that high level emotions and thinking, where you can feel freer. You can feel like, you're floating. You can um, experience a different version of life, that can be joyful, that can be exciting, that can be calm. So I think that understanding how that bridge works, and knowing that it's possible, I think is the hope that I'd like to offer to anybody who's feeling those emotions, because I certainly have felt them. That total, like, who do they think they are? How could they treat me in such a way? How could they deceive me in such a way? How could they oppress me in such a way? uh, where it was all about what somebody else did to me. And it's really painful because it feels like you just can't get out of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
being able to offer and point in the direction of there is hope, because I've experienced both ends of the spectrum. Um, and still do now and then, being human, but now being able to recognize it. And I think that's what we're trying to present here, is that recognition of where you are and where is possible to go.
Yes. Yes. So it's so we are saying it's okay to feel that way. What we are thinking is not true. It's okay to feel that way. It's very human.
Mm,
Thinking that way is not a problem as long as we don't believe that to be our truth. That's when things get very messy. Because what happens there is when we start to believe that way, we are just saying there's a blame on self, there's a blame on others, there's a blame on the system, the whole system, which is the Almighty God. So we are actually saying that I'm at the mercy of something, someone, which is never true. That's where this gets very, very interesting. At times we'll have to go the full spectrum before the story really busts, where we start to see, oh, okay, that's not true. That's not true. So this comes with only understanding. So when you said, Teresa, that if we have access to low level thinking, we have access to high level thinking. That is just the possibility of knowing that we can think however we want to think. We can believe whatever we want to believe. No problem. That is just one is good use of our ability to think, another is not so good use of our ability to think. And when we don't use it right, we get into trouble. That's where the innocence is. And the worst part is when we start taking it seriously, when we start reacting to it, mostly the victims become the perpetrators. So we
Mm.
see most part in the world where the people who have felt like a victim are the ones causing, um, like it feels like a good idea to cause suffering in the world because they have felt the suffering. That's when the whole
Hmm.
cycle of
Vengeance.
the vengeance, yes, the ones
Vengeance.
who are
Revenge. Yeah.
feeling hurt are the ones who are causing hurt. Um, and this is where the understanding is very helpful that we are only feeling our thinking in the moment, our thoughts in the moment. It's never, nobody has the power to make us feel small, like a victim. It's just a misunderstanding, innocent misunderstanding, because the system doesn't work like that.
Mm.
That frees us up. That understanding frees us up. So it requires an understanding. And I'm saying this again, that feeling is okay. We can have those moments. Even though I have an understanding, I might have experiences like that. So that experience is no problem. The problem is when I believe to be my absolute truth, that's when the problem is, which means I lack understanding. Okay? So this the only way to break the cycle of victimhood to trying to be causing justice by causing pain, etc. That revenge cycle, whatever we may want to call it. Um, the only way to break that is to see that the Almighty God, there is this balance in the system. It's very
Mm.
innocent to even think that, that I have been the receiving end of injustice. It is very innocent to think that somebody has the power to make me feel small or and however those feelings are true, those experiences can be very, 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 very real. This is where
Yeah.
it gets very difficult to get so lost that it becomes the reality. And the illusion becomes the reality so real, one can't see it. It's not possible to see it till one chooses to inquire into truth. How does the system works? The larger
Mm.
system works. Okay? The moment one inquires into truth, that's what this invitation is, this journey is of being a warrior, where we start to see there is no injustice in nature.
Mm.
Okay, there is this natural balance in nature. Okay, when there is imbalance, the balance. So there is a way of setting balance, whether it is in the weather conditions, whether it is in the way the whole animal kingdom works. Okay, there is we
Vegetation,
yes,
plants. Yeah.
yes, exactly. When we start seeing it's phenomenal, it's mind blowing. There is such an order. There's
Yeah. Perfect
such
harmony.
perfect harmony of how everybody can coexist without causing any imbalance, any injustice, because injustice is not the 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 natural.
It's not the default.
It's not the default, exactly. Okay, it's
Yeah.
it's not part
The default
of
state. Yeah.
the divine design. Divine design does not cause any injustice. For example, more sunlight to someone. For example, I come from a place where there is more sunlight. Like, it's very humid. Okay, I didn't enjoy it till I realized what a blessing it is. Then I stopped complaining. So it seemed like, why is this weather like this? Like I used to feel like a victim. Something very, very petty. Really, it looks petty, but it wasn't petty. I used to feel very off most days because I used to sweat, so you stink. Yeah, you see, so I used to add to my petty stories of, oh, you see, I sting, so blah blah blah, right? All this how real those thoughts get, of adding to the judgments we have about ourselves and the whole system. It only takes one wake up call, and it ends everything. One wake up call into the truths. Okay, where the cynicism ends, ungratefulness ends, complaining ends, comparisons end, jealousy ends. All that ends, no blame, just pure humility to see, oh, it's just a thought. I can let go of that.
Mm.
And I come back
I,
into balance.
yeah, I think it's important to say here is that we're not denying that the events happened, right? We're
Yes.
not denying that certain things happened that, that may not have been okay. But it's really how we're thinking about it. It's the judgments that we're having about ourselves and the whole situation, um, that keep us in that victim stuck state, not able to move forward, or like you said, feeling vindicated to hurt others when we've been hurt.
Yeah. I think this follows from our previous episodes, Reza, where we spoke about the I know syndrome. Yes, the
Mm,
heights of I know syndrome is believing what I think is the absolute truth. Okay, this is the other extreme of it, where we just explored in our previous episode that we can't know. We don't have access to the absolute knowledge of why something happens, the wisdom behind why certain situations happen. It only takes humility to see we don't have that access. We will never have that access. It's not possible for us to know really, okay, why is something happening? Why is this situation happening? So it's innocent to think that I know why this is happening. This person doing this to me, okay? That that is just helping us see, oh, the I know syndrome can be a trap and imprisonment for life.
mm,
The only difference here is it's innocent because we are exercising the choice to think that way,
mm,
but we don't realize that. You don't realize that. The moment I realize, oh, I'm thinking that way, I don't have to think that way. I can think differently. The
mm,
moment I noticed I have the choice to think differently, really, it's a gift, can be misused. But the moment I know how to think differently, then we start playing the role. We don't feel like a victim anymore. We know how to show up differently, contribute, help ourselves, help others. It's a
step
minor
into warrior,
shift.
step into warrior mode.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter how, in fact, if you look at there, it is very interesting example, okay? Um, we do have people like the Nelson Mandelas of the world who been, who have experienced, we could say, great amount of injustice. We could say that, but it
Yeah.
helped them wake up and wake the world. Look at how beautiful that example is. And at the same time, we do have a lot of examples of people who've experienced that, who went the other route of causing more distress, okay? Causing more pain, thinking that's the way, okay?
Yeah. Feeling justified. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we have enough examples of the both spectrum. One wakes up the world, another takes us backwards, takes us into a deep sleep mode. So,
Mm.
so it is something only for the people who want to understand, who want to inquire into truth, can see it. Otherwise, it's not possible to see it. That's that is why this is such an interesting part to um, to even come out of that trap, because we are the ones innocently keeping that alive, and we don't even know we're keeping that illusion alive, and
Mm,
we are suffering because we are thinking that way, and we are continuously feeling that, and we don't even want to feel that way, hence we run away from the feeling. So we don't even feel the freedom of feeling that.
yeah.
It's innocent, it's very innocent. uh, and it takes
Mm,
understanding, it takes compassion, and these are the two, I would say, tools of a warrior. We'll talk more about it in our other video. These are two very big tools: inquiring into truth, which is understanding, and compassion for the suffering, okay, which is what brings ease and a little spaciousness into see, okay, what am I supposed to see now? Not go downwards, okay, go upwards type of thing.
mm, mm.
Beautiful. I think we've gone really long. This is a good place to pause.
Yes, I think so. I think we covered a lot that can be, digested.